You know, in the Old Testament, Noah was on the ark for 40 days and 40 nights. During that time, God sent the flood and washed his world clean and brought about a new beginning. Later on in the story, Moses spends 40 days and 40 nights on the mountain with God, interceding for the people. And he receives the covenant that God would ultimately establish with Israel. Later on, in 1 Samuel, the giant Goliath taunts God's people for 40 days. But after 40 days, young David steps up and takes Goliath down with a sling and a stone and brings about a decisive victory for the people of God. Later on, Elijah, the prophet, travels 40 days, 40 nights into the wilderness to Mount Horeb, where he communes with God and hears God speak to him in a gentle whisper. You know, of course, in the New Testament, Jesus spends 40 days and 40 nights in the wilderness, praying, fasting, preparing for the launch of his public ministry, which would ultimately change the world and change each of our lives. And of course, after Jesus went to the cross and was resurrected, in the book of Acts in chapter 1, it says that Jesus spent 40 days teaching the disciples and preparing them for the outpouring of the Holy Spirit and the ushering in of the new covenant. You know, I share all that to say these periods of renewal, of decisive victory, of God doing a new thing and establishing his covenants, they're marked by these periods of 40 days, often of people communing with God, prayer, and getting into the presence of God. And so, as we begin 2024, I wanted to invite all of us to pray. I want to call us to come before God and really pray for 40 days together. We're going to start 2024 with 40 days of prayer as the Grand Valley Church. From January 1st until February 9th, we'll be praying together every day here at the church building. We'll be praying weeknights from 7:30 to 8 p.m. And then Saturday mornings, we'll pray from 9 to 9:30 a.m. Sundays, we'll incorporate prayer more into our times of worship together. We'll have a Zoom option available every time. And so please try and be there in some form or fashion. We'll be asking God for big goals, big dreams that we're praying for together as a church. And we'll also have opportunities for you to submit your own prayer requests so we can be praying for each other as well. We're going to be asking God for sensitivity to his Spirit to see where he's leading us in 2024. This is going to be such an encouraging and inspiring time. I know it's a big ask. I know that for some of you, you're going to be coming home from work and having to turn around and go to the church building to pray. I know for some of you, there'll be a parent coming here while the other parent's putting down kids to bed with one earbud in and Zoom on the phone. I get it. But guys, it's going to be worth it. We're going to come together and draw closer to each other. We're going to draw closer to God. And it's going to be incredible to witness what God does in 2024. Let's lift our eyes to God together in prayer.